Wow, 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 wow. I know I've said it 5 times, but wow. What can we say about that? Welcome into the Instant Match Reaction on the Bench Warmers podcast. I am the Moaning Palm. We are reacting to Leeds United 2, Chelsea 2, a 2-2 draw, and that performance. What can you say about it? A game that starts with a formation that you're like, okay, we're okay. 6 defenders, a 5-4-1. Bogle in what seems right wing. James Justin in the right back. Ball now in the back three there. Goodmanson on the back. So 6 defenders total, and it's a bit of a weird formation, but he's gone with it. He's gone with a risk. Down 2-0 and then come back to draw it 2-2 in a game and in the first half where I thought the first 10 minutes it was pretty evenly matched. 10-15 minutes pretty evenly matched. I think the first shot on target wasn't until the 10th 11th minute mark. But then a first half which Chelsea have absolutely dominated, and I think personally it comes back to it's a game where we've sat back again. I think in performances where we've lost or put in a poor performance, we sit back and let teams come at us. All right, we'd sit back and let teams come at us, and it showed in this game. And apart from the first quarter of the game where both teams were playing each other or finding their rhythm, Chelsea absolutely dominated us, and it showed in that first goal. Not too sure if it's a communication error between Bornau and Biol with that first goal, but they've absolutely let the Chelsea attacker run right through. A great ball from Cole Palmer, and nothing Darlow could really do in regards to that first goal. And then with leading into the end of the first half, second half, you're going, okay, we're only 1-0 down. Maybe we can make some changes, and the game may change a little bit. And then Chelsea score straight after the first half, basically into the second half, of what was Beal absolute brain explosion. Not really sure what he was doing. There was nothing doing. Yes, he'd been beaten, but he recovered pretty good and got back in defence, and then just gives a massive shove in the back, which leads to a Chelsea penalty, of which Cole Palmer slots in the back of the net. So 2-0 down at that point. We haven't really had any attack. We're not looking great on the ball. We're sitting back quite a lot. That formation's quite clearly not working well. I thought at that point Vogel just didn't look like he knew where he needed to be, what he was doing. Nemecha didn't really get much ball, didn't look good on the ball at that point. Thinking, okay, we need 2 up top because this formation is not working. And Farke, to his credit, I will give him credit. I know there's going to be a lot of hate. Win, loss, or draw, there's going to be a lot of hate towards Farke. He tried something and it just didn't work. In the second half, he made the change that needed to be changed. Bornau was looking a bit sloppy at the back. I thought Biol actually had a decent game. The changes that needed to be made, I think he made it around the 55th minute mark. He makes it. The likes of Okafor comes on. Bogle goes back to right back. Justin Jefferson slots into where Bornau was, and we looked a lot better. We were going forward a lot more, attacking a lot more, and then we get the penalty, of which the Chelsea defender was a bit silly. I can't remember his name, sorry. Bit silly to make that play, but he does. Great penalty by Nemecha, scores, puts it in the back of the net. It was a quiet game from him, but he ended up with a goal and assist. And the hope's there again. We're there. The performance is back. It's where we want it to be. Not much more changes going on. However, for the second goal, we get forward again. You're potentially looking at VR bringing it back for a handball. It wasn't. They rule it an accidental handball. Play on from there. And again, the Chelsea goalkeeper, that's twice this season, he's had a bit of a brain explosion. Scramble in the goal mouth there. Could have been a penalty, but pops out to Okafor, puts it in the back of the net. 2-2, you're going, wow, here we go. What a comeback. We've done it again. You've got to say how much heart this team has, resilience. This is not the first time they've come back from a deficit to get a point out of a game. At 2-2, you're going, okay, do we play out for a point or do we push hard? And I think at what point it was, I'm not too sure what point it was, but Dan James gets on the field. And you're just going, okay, let's let him use that speed if he's still got it. Let him get behind the Chelsea defence. Unfortunately, nothing does come of it, and then Chelsea are getting on the ball a lot more again, and our defence just stays resilient. But I thought it was one of those games where it was going one or two ways. It was a win or a loss, or not necessarily a win or a loss, but it was a game of two halves, or three quarters, where it was a poor first half performance. Farke makes the changes, and it works well. And for me, this team just shows a lot of heart, and it's all you want to see. It's all you want to see going forward. You can deal with a loss if the team wants to play, and so far they're showing, and you see it when that final whistle's blown. The happiness in the players to get that point, and a point that goes a long way, because at this point West Ham have drawn with Man U, Spurs lost to Newcastle, so we move above Spurs now, and that brings them into the relegation fight with Palace still to play. So you're very happy with that result. You would have been happy with a point going into the game. But overall, performance-wise, a lot to work on. We obviously got the cup, so maybe Farke there wasn't a lot of changes. You got to feel for the likes of Nonto and Perot, because they're just not getting on the field. Longstaff comes on with 60 seconds to go, something like that. Somebody that we were maybe hoping to see in the game, just because he showed in that last 60 seconds he was willing to put in the tackles and hurt a few of the Chelsea players. There was a scare leading into the final moments of the game where Cole Palmer, and it comes off a lot of pressure. They had a few chances, but again, defence resilient. Cole Palmer skies one off his ankle. Must be looking for a Leeds move in the summer, I don't know. But as I say, you take a point off this game. We've got a string of games coming up where we needed to get something, and this Chelsea result, we've got something now. We're going into Villa. I believe that's away, but I may be wrong there. If it's at home, you'd be looking to pick up 3 points. If it's away, same thing again. Try and get a point out of the game, and just keep picking up these points to keep that gap between us and the bottom three teams. Obviously, Wolves are pretty much gone. Burnley look like they're gone. So you've got the likes of West Ham, Forest, Palace and Spurs that we're bringing into this relegation fight. Spurs will be very nervy after that loss to Newcastle as well, especially now they are close to the relegation places. So yeah, you take a point. Sorry, I'm rambling on, guys. You take a point out of this performance. Hopefully the boys continue the string of games. We've only lost 2 in 11 games now. So we are one of the most informed Premier League teams. And at the moment, the bottom teams are the informed teams, the likes of West Ham and Forest. So I think we are going to... I'm not worried about relegation. I really aren't. I just hope that we can keep picking up these points. Like I said, we've got a string of games coming up where it is going to be close. However, West Ham have got some big games that they need to get points in as well. Same with Forest, and obviously Spurs. They're an absolute mess. So we're doing what we need to do. 2-0 down, we pick up the points. 2-0 down, sorry, we draw 2-2. I think that shows a lot of courage, a lot of heart, and that's all we ask for. There's obviously going to be a lot of hate, and all I'm going to say to anybody that is hating on Farke's decisions, Farke's formations, just get behind the team, get behind the boys. If there's a player that you're not happy with seeing, we're not seeing Tanaka in the team get minutes, we're not seeing Nonto get minutes. Perot, he should have probably taken a January transfer, but he's there. If there's players you want to see in the team and you're not getting to see him, Farke's made his decision. He's got his favourites, and you're going to have to stick with that. So just back the boys, back the team. I'm not sure how many games. We've got a couple of months left. We've got a long period of games. I think there's a international window coming up before the end of the season. So we'll take this. But we've got Derby on the weekend, and then Villa after that, I believe. So we'll take this point and just try and build on it as much as we can. Hopefully, we're never going to see that formation again. I believe Calvert-Lewin was out with just illness. I'm not too sure with Strauch. But yeah, I think maybe he was just resting a few of the boys before the cup game on the weekend. Something that's winnable as well. So maybe we can put a cup run. Personally, I'm not bothered about the cup, as nice as it would be to put in a cup run. I just want to keep this league form. So great point. We move on. As I said, it moves us up the table, brings Spurs into that relegation fight. So we move on to Derby at the weekend. Sunday, British time. I believe it'll be Monday morning, midnight time over here in New Zealand. So we'll be onto that one. So make sure you hit us up in the comments. What do you think about their performance? Like, tag, and share. Follow us on all our platforms. Follow us on YouTube so we can try and get some followers on and do some live watch-alongs and live streams. But all the best, guys. Marching on together.